Hello and welcome to In the QC, a podcast brought to you by the Quad Cities Chamber. If you aren't from here, I know what you're thinking. QC? That's where? The QC is the heart of the Midwest, a proud, forward-thinking family of communities connected by one of the world's most renowned rivers, the Mississippi. The region attracts returners and explorers, investors and entrepreneurs because it offers the well-being and comforts of the accessible, the homegrown, and the local, combined with an inventive imagination that embraces arts, businesses, and global aspirations. Welcome back to In the QC. I'm so excited for today's episode. We have Tammy and Chris from the Business and Economic Growth Department at the Quad City Chamber joining us today. So, Chris and Tammy, could you please introduce yourselves?
I'll start. Hi, everyone. I'm Tammy Petchy, and I am the Vice President of Business and Economic Growth at the Quad Cities Chamber. I've been with the Chamber, it will be 7 years in this coming August, so here just in a few weeks.
Wow, goes by fast, doesn't it, Tammy?
It has gone really fast, yes. So in my role, I work with Chris and our team in helping our local existing businesses thrive. And we focus on certain industries in our roles. Mine is specifically food manufacturing, warehouse logistics, and corporate office. And then in addition to helping our existing businesses, we also help try to attract new businesses into the community.
Awesome. Chris, and how about you?
Sure. Hello, podcast audience.
Chris has the best podcast voice, so I've been so excited to have you on In the QC.
Thank you, Lindsay. This is actually a great invitation. We appreciate it. I'm Chris Caves, and I'm also VP of Business and Economic Growth for the Quad City Chamber. I get to serve our manufacturers and our defense manufacturers in the region. Just like Tammy, we collaborate on business attraction activities, business retention activities. Basically, we are resource brokers. That's how we introduce ourselves. So we're trying to serve as many people as possible and connect them to resources regionally.
Awesome. And not to derail this too much, but I just have to say, I actually got the chance to meet Chris Caves before starting at the Chamber. She helped me when I was doing the Davenport TEDx talk. She really helped me reel in my talk because I do not think it would have turned out as good without all of her advice. So just real quick, thank you so much for that, Chris.
I love the shout out. It might be interesting for the audience to know, actually, I come from, and many of your listeners will know or recognize me from, serving our community in a workforce capacity, actually for the better part of the last 10 years. So, I like to hang my hat on workforce development as a key priority.
I'm so happy you mentioned that too, Chris, because I think something that a lot of people don't really realize is that everyone at the Chamber has a long track record of working for the community, within the community, to better the community. So it's really cool to hear kind of the backstory of all the work we've been doing and then how we all ended up at the Chamber. So it's really neat.
Yeah. I actually became aware of the Chamber in my prior role as well. I worked in DeWitt at the local Chamber and Economic Development group.
Wow.
And so partnered with the Quad Cities Chamber in different activities. And so it was just a kind of a nice fit to move into more of a region-wide capacity versus just the single community. So
I love
we
that.
all come with different angles for sure.
Right. Awesome. Well, Chris, could you tell me a little bit more in depth the work that the Business and Economic Growth team does?
Yes, absolutely. So we serve the Quad City region as your local economic development organization. We partner with all of our Quad City communities to include our rural communities. I think, honestly, is the number 56, 58, small, medium, and large communities that represent the whole Quad Cities region. So we're that single point of contact. Again, like I called ourselves, we were referred to recently as resource brokers. So we are salespeople. We're salespeople for the region. Tammy and I have the privilege of traveling throughout the year to conferences to meet directly with national site consultants.
Wow.
We aggressively try to pursue prospects.
In a nice way.
Yeah, in a nice way.
I love how when Tammy's voice is so light when she brings that in a nice way.
Yeah, we're trying to sell the region, so we do it assertively, face to face at many conferences in the country.
That is so cool.
We use our social media platforms to also solicit and reach out to prospects. You know, we want to know if a company might be interested in relocating, and we want to put our community first on their list. We do business connection or business retention activities. So Tammy and I collectively meet with over 100 businesses a year just to take a temperature check.
Wow.
Tell us, what are your wins? What are your struggles? You know, what do you need access to? How can our team advocate on your behalf? Right. So we convene people, we connect people, and we collaborate with a lot of people in economic development, business, education, and community development throughout the region.
Wow. And just to back up real quick, Chris, I love that you mentioned how you do those check-ins, right? And I have to imagine that, you know, that helps you gauge the work that you guys need to continue doing, maybe where you need to pivot to be able to help these businesses bring new business to the Quad Cities. But it really shows the hands-on approach that the business and economic growth team has. You guys really are at the forefront of growing the region. And one way we do that is by building the businesses, supporting the businesses we have. I think that is really cool. This is very far away from what I maybe do on the communication side. So I help with your guys' voice. Like, I help you guys get the message out there, but I'm always fascinated to kind of get the inside scoop of all the work you guys do, not just on the big wins, but on the everyday, just the relationships that you are continuing to foster every single day. It's so much work, but it's really fascinating to sit back and get to watch it firsthand from you guys.
80% of business expansion comes from business retention conversations. So people probably don't realize that. It's our existing businesses that are really investing, expanding their business, expanding their markets. And Tammy and I are uniquely positioned in our role to go out into the community and actually get those questions right up front directly from our local employers.
And our other colleague, Deb Mueller,
yeah,
she does the exact same thing that Chris and I do as well. She's out pounding the pavement every day too, talking to local businesses, but she works with more of the smaller service providers, retailers, the smaller B2B, B2C businesses. And she is doing great work as well. And yeah, I mean, collectively, as we work together, we're finding trends of the opportunities that we can help our businesses with. And that's the fun part of our job, is helping our businesses continue to grow.
That is awesome. And I love that it's kind of broken up, right? Like one side of the team focuses on, you know, the bigger picture items, and then you have Deb on the ground with local businesses, smaller businesses, and you treat them all with the same amount of care, love, and intention. And I think that is, one of the things that makes the chamber so special, that it's not just about one side of the spectrum, but it's about the whole rainbow on that spectrum, right? We want to make sure that the smallest of our businesses feel taken care of, supported, and listened to, as well as the largest of the businesses that are members or that we bring into the Quad Cities. That is really cool. Well, on that note, Tammy, I know we had some big wins this year. Let's dive into those big wins.
Of course. I love to talk about it. Are you talking about Fair Oaks Foods?
Well, I mean, I do love bacon, so.
I hope most of us love bacon.
Yeah, I
know I do.
As Iowa, Illinois people, we tend to like bacon a whole lot. Even if you're vegetarian, you know that at some point they're sneaking a piece of bacon, or they're eating the tofu bacon, but bacon is still on the plate in one shape or form.
Yes. So, Fair Oaks Foods, it's our most recently announced business attraction project here in the Quad Cities region. They came to us in a little over a year ago, June of 21. It came actually initially through the state of Iowa. The site consultant working with the company reached out to several states. I think there was around 7 states that they had originally reached out to. And so the state of Iowa shared that RFI with communities within Iowa. And so we actually knew the site consultant. We had worked with him on a project prior to this project, which we refer to as Project Runway.
I love the project names. It's so fun.
Sometime we'll have to get into how we name those. Yeah. This one came in named already as Project Runway. So one of the things that I think we'll probably talk about a little bit later is just the relationships that Chris and I build with our site consultants and how important it is to create that awareness about the Quad Cities. And that was one of the reasons that Project Runway, I think, sped faster ahead than maybe some other projects, is because of that site consultant that worked was working on Project Runway, had worked with us previously. So he understood the Quad Cities. He has been here before. He knows about the workforce. He knows about the transportation network. He knows why we do what we do and what we're good at. And so that certainly helped along the project. And so Fair Oaks Foods, it is a protein company based out of Wisconsin, and this is their first expansion out of their current facility. Wow. And they chose Davenport, Iowa for their location. And so 7 states, I think there was 176 different sites that they originally
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's like winning, I don't know, like being number one in the country for something. I don't know, sports fans throw sport in there. But that is very competitive.
It's very competitive.
That is awesome.
Yes.
Wow. And I remember, because again, I'm on the communication side, so I get to work these press releases and these, like ribbon cutting scenes like that. But I get to see these big businesses come in and get their first chance to kind of talk publicly about these big projects. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like they were just so excited to be in the Quad Cities. It seemed like they had really developed a love for the area and for the people. Yeah. So that was one thing that was really exciting for me to see how they already felt connected to our area. Because I think I at least will speak for myself. I'm very proud to be a Quad citizen. And I think, that's a trend that a lot of us have. We love our community. Mm-hmm. We love the people here. We just love living here. And so when you have a company move here and to believe in us, believe in our community, that's something that's really special.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they made a couple of visits here, and the collaboration amongst our partners really, I think, is what helped them see that this was the community that they wanted to be in. So, it's the city of Davenport, the landowner, which was the Greater Davenport Redevelopment Corporation, the utility partners, the community college. I mean, we all work so well together, and to be able to showcase that to a company to show that we are here to support them and that we will have their backs when they do come. I mean, that's really important to a company, that they know that they can feel supported. And we were able to show that, and we just happened to have the skilled workforce that they were looking for, the land that they were looking for. Everything really kind of fell into place.
We checked all the boxes, didn't we? That's awesome.
And,
great.
It was so this, took a year in the making.
Which seems really fast in the considering some of these timelines. If you think about what goes into these, decisions and these moves, it is a lot of work. Like, I've just gotten to see how much prep time goes into just solidifying a project on this scale. So that seems like a very fast timeline for this one.
Yes, and it is. And sometimes people ask, well, how long does it take to have a project come to fruition? And every project is different. It can take years. It could start off super fast and then come to a halt for one reason or another, and you don't hear from a company for 2 or 3 years. Wow. And then they come back. And so every project is different, but this one definitely was a mover and shaker. And in the end, we're going to have a fully cooked bacon facility here in Davenport in the Quad Cities region, and they are scheduled to open in 2024 sometime.
Wow, awesome! Okay, real quick, I just have to throw in. This is the best part about having a podcast, is you can throw in personal stories. I love this. But growing up, pre-cooked bacon was a staple in my household because I would call it Daddy can't burn bacon because it was the only kind of bacon my father could not burn and ruin. And so that became the morning staple before school is Dad would make me a walla, we called it the walla sandwich, which was just pre-cooked bacon and ketchup on white bread. And that's a very Midwest kind of breakfast, but I will forever have a deep love for my father cannot burn it bacon. Oh my goodness. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for kind of going a little bit more in depth about the process behind bringing that big win to the Quad Cities region. On that note, talking about big wins, Chris, why is the Quad Cities a desirable region for businesses?
Yeah, we recently hosted some national site consultants to the region, and Tammy and I were able to be front row on their comments about why they were so interested in the region and what were some of our strengths and our assets. Immediately as they get off the airplane and we drive them to our office, and it took less than 15 minutes, they were so impressed with that.
And they had to go from one state to another in 15 minutes. Tell me where else you can do that.
That's right.
So these communities.
Exactly.
Some of those obvious things. So they obviously noted that we just don't have a lot of traffic, but yet we have a very well-developed interstate system. We've got the assets of barge transportation on the river. It's obvious to see rail and certainly the airport. They love that we have an international airport, that can serve our region. They love the accessibility of it, and they commented on it often.
And also, what airport does it only take 15 minutes to get through security?
Yeah.
I mean, that is just incredible. I brag about that all the time. And I also hate flying anywhere else because it's like, I got to go there 2 hours early. Quad City Airport, I can just get in there, get my coffee, some snacks, a magazine. I got plenty of time to spare.
So, I mean, from a personal perspective, all of those just efficiencies. It's very relaxing experience to come into the Quad Cities. Professionally, why would their businesses want to come here? Well, for one, the strength of our multimodal transportation system is key, and it comes up in every site selection conversation that Tammy and I have with prospects. So we really can bring a compounded level of assets to the group. We also have very affordable utility costs. We're not struggling with electric utilities, water utilities. We have plenty of ground that's able to be developed right along a main interstate artery. We are close to our major markets. People love the fact that you can get to Chicago within 2.5 hours. You can get to Minneapolis in half a day. You can get to St. Louis in 3 hours. It's, having that central location. That became very obvious and very relevant very quickly. People need to see a map many times, Lindsay, to know where the Quad Cities is.
QC, that's where.
These are just some of the things. And then, I'd be remiss in saying that we don't have a really John Deere is here for a reason. Our sites and consultants said, look, if nothing else, you have a legacy company that has headquarters in your community. There is a reason that they stay and continue to invest, and that all of the businesses within their supply chain make up our regional manufacturing ecosystem. They want to know the power behind the efficiency of doing business. And John Deere's been doing it for, how many hundreds of years now. So they really do pay attention. They understand that we do have a strong workforce, very dominant in manufacturing, but because John Deere is branching into autonomous vehicles and more IT and technical expertise, they see those trends. They know where our community is going. And so when you say, what makes us attractive, it's really a compounded thing, right?
List,
It's beautiful. They could see people recreating. We've got great developed downtowns. They made comments about the entertainment district,
the placemaking happening.
You got it. They noticed that right away. They're aware of our education partners, our strong systems of workforce development, and transportation. So I mean, when we've got ground and we're ready to go, it's speed to market, they said.
I wish that the average Quad citizen could put on the glasses of a site selector and just get to view the Quad Cities in that way, just for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. But I think when you live in an area, I think we can take things for granted. We can maybe be desensitized to the fact that it is so easy to travel around the Quad Cities. I have family, in Rock Island, and then I live in Davenport. I can get over for breakfast at Grandma and Grandpa's in 15 minutes. It's a beautiful drive. I love it. I listen to my Apple playlist the entire time. It's quick and easy. And I think so often you don't realize until you go to maybe a major city. Like I was traveling to Los Angeles a lot just 5 years ago, and the traffic, it would take like 3 hours in really bad traffic to get half a mile. It's ridiculous. And that's what I vowed. I will never, ever complain about what I thought was traffic in the Quad Cities, because being stuck for 30 seconds on Kimberly is not traffic. Right. It's really not. And so I think if we could all just take, time to reflect on how lucky we are to live in this area, I think that would be a really good thing for the average Quad citizen. So it's really cool to hear what you guys are saying that the site selectors see in our area, because I think it gives us all a little bit more pride in the place we call home.
They said flexibility is the new workforce commodity. And if you really think about that, they said we are a prime community for attracting certainly young professionals or professionals who have families right now, because our region demonstrated that ability to offer a flexible work and live environment. So if flexibility is the new commodity, what do our businesses do in the region to actually capitalize on that?
Oh, that's a great point, Chris. Absolutely. Well, on that note, Chris and Tammy, could we maybe dive in a little bit deeper into this past site selector tour? I know it was a very jam-packed schedule that you guys had. I'd love to kind of hear the process behind that and maybe what you learned from it.
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure. I can start and then
Great.
Chris jump in. So we just recently held a site selector fam tour, and what this is, just to make sure that we all understand what a site selector, site consultant is in the first place. So these are individuals that are hired by companies that are looking to expand, and they need some help in finding out, like, where is that next community that we should expand to? Where is the best place for us to do business?
Which, before I started the chamber, I did not know this was a thing, and I feel quite bad that I don't know what I assumed the process was to bring business to. Of course, it had to be a structured, kind of complicated process of something bigger than just a company pointing at a map, but I just wasn't educated on it. So I am very excited that our audience is going to get to hear the behind the scenes. Sorry to interrupt, but I didn't realize that it, was like that.
And there are companies that do it on their own. It's usually the smaller companies that Chris and I work with as well. But these are companies that usually need a larger footprint.
Right.
And that they just need a little bit more guidance. And so Chris and I, over the last year and a half, we've been, going to different conferences, going to different forums where we've been meeting with site consultants. And we held one of these FAM tours back in 2018, and it was super successful. The comment that we had gotten was, wow, I had no idea what the Quad Cities was until I came here. And so we decided, let's do it again. Let's see what we can do. And so we pulled together. We had 4 site consultants come in. One was from Atlanta, one was from Dallas, and 2 were from Chicago. And they came in on a Tuesday afternoon and they left on a Thursday morning. So it was a jam-packed 36-ish
You
hours.
get to explore the region in just 2 days, right? A little over. Wow, that is that's a busy schedule.
Yeah, so over those number of hours, day and a half, we probably met with close to 50 different business leaders and partners throughout the region.
That's amazing.
And we toured a couple of different companies. We met with some education partners. We talked a lot about workforce. We had lunches and dinners in different communities, and so it was an opportunity to help them see what we are here and how they can have their companies be successful here. So, the goal, I think, was accomplished. We asked all of them, as they were leaving, and we had post conversations with them of, if you have a client that is looking for a Midwest location and it fits your criteria, would you advocate for the Quad Cities? And the answer, all 4 of them, is yes.
Yes,
So,
love
yeah,
to hear that.
right there, that's a
Awesome.
win, right?
Yeah,
And
that's a
so,
big win.
Yeah, top of mind. That's what we were
Awesome.
trying to do.
Yeah.
And, it was just a really great opportunity to showcase how cool the Quad Cities is. And it was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, Lindsay, just thinking about, people are probably like, well, what kind of return on investment do you get from inviting 4 people here? Right? But we are a virtual world now.
Yeah.
And what we get is that compounded basic networking into our sites consultants, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 network representatives. So it's not so much how did we serve 4 people. Now we've just expanded or multiplied our impact, our awareness into their tier 2, tier 3 contacts.
Yeah.
So from all the social media postings that and the activity we've been doing post-event, Tammy and I have multiple thousands of people that are liking our posts, commenting on our posts, sharing our posts. So from 4 people visiting our community, we have easily impacted over 5,000 people.
The impressions
in the
made on that.
sphere. You got
Absolutely.
it. So that's why this work is so meaningful. We're a virtual world, and we have to keep inviting people here to our community so they can educate their own networks or influence their own networks about giving the Quad Cities a second look.
And those 4 yeses just became 4 influencers for the Quad Cities region, right? They're going to advocate for the place that they really enjoyed being in, the businesses that they really enjoyed getting to meet and talk to and experience. So I think that is just so incredible. That is awesome behind the scenes.
I have a funny story about one of the things that helps make us stand out, right?
Yeah.
So one of the site consultants was leaving, and we took her to the airport, and before we left for the airport, she's like, I really wanted a taco pizza. Happy Joe's taco pizza.
Because she'd never had taco pizza.
And we've been talking about it.
So for the viewers that don't know this, taco pizza was invented in the Quad Cities, and it's a staple here. So when you grow up here, you think you can get it anywhere,
right.
but oh my goodness.
Yeah, so she had never heard of taco pizza, and before we left, she's like, I really wanted a taco pizza. So what ended up happening, one of our colleagues went and ordered and got a taco pizza. I took her out to the airport. We got her checked in, and curbside delivery.
Oh my, the chamber way.
We got her a taco pizza that she ate out in the common area before she checked through, and she fell in love with it.
And that's something she's going to remember forever. Because I think that is something that's so special about the chamber, about the business and economic growth team, is we go the extra mile always. I think the extra mile is our normal, right?
And we want to show off all of the cool things
absolutely.
Because cities.
At the end of the day, all of us have a deep-rooted love for this community, for this area. And so the fact that we get to promote it every day and the work that we do is just the cherry on top, right? We want people to fall in love with this place just like we have.
Absolutely.
Oh, so awesome. So on that note, what is the number one selling point that makes the QC so great? Chris, you're smiling, so I know you got a good answer for me.
It's hard to nail it down, but I have said this publicly to people before, and it really came to me with our QC That's Where campaign. I remember at the launch of that, you had asked the attendees to the event to write down on a Post-it note, what does QC That's Where means to you? And that's what the number one thing is for me. I always tell people QC is so accessible. QC That's Where you can be a leader. You can be a successful business. You can have access to decision makers. You can have access to influencers. You could be an influencer. Absolutely. So I guess the number one thing that always stands out to me, and I'm a Quad City native, I grew up here, I get it, but in the Quad Cities, if you've got the ambition, you can be. QC That's Where you have access.
I love that. Absolutely agree with you on that, Chris. All right, ladies, we are coming to a close. Chris and Tammy, I have enjoyed my time with you so much today for In the QC, Episode 5 with the Business and Economic Growth Team. So, last question for you both. Could you please talk to me a little bit about why the QC is just such a great place to live and work? This is a loaded question because we could be here for 2 more hours, but I would love to hear what you both think on that.
I think personally, I mean, as I said, I was born here and came back with my family to raise a family. So in the Quad Cities, we're a safe community. We're a connected community. I happen to live out on an old Christmas tree farm. If you want to live in the metro,
so cool.
You can,
I didn't know that, Chris.
Right?
That's so cool.
Or you can live out in the country with acreage, and you still can get into the Quad Cities with a really short commute. I mean, our average commute times are 16 minutes, and people are used to traveling 30 minutes to and from work in our region. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of second nature, but we like the pace of life, but we like the access to important industries, mm-hmm. progressive education systems, right? Connections to global companies. Like, we have innovation, we have investment, we have important and intelligent people and businesses happening here. So it's really kind of like this, best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. What we don't realize, and it's been pointed out to us, Lindsay, is we are actually a region that is different from many others because we have what companies are calling ESG values, environmental, social, and governance values. These are important to companies that are looking to relocate mm-hmm. because they're looking for communities that can demonstrate how are we being great stewards of our environmental natural resources.
Yeah, absolutely.
It becomes very obvious, with the Mississippi River right mm-hmm. here through town, that we have plentiful water resources. Mm-hmm. We have plentiful green space.
Yeah.
We've got fresh air. We've got affordable utilities. Even our utility partner, MidAmerican Energy, has a new standard for clean energy that they're promoting through their Prime program. That is so attractive to companies, mm-hmm. and it should be actually kind of appealing to citizens.
Absolutely.
If you want to come to a community where it's clean, it's fresh, it's bountiful with resources, it's safe, mm-hmm. it's inclusive, it represents city mouse and country mouse in many aspects. That really is what appealed to me and my family, and that's why we are Quad citizens.
I love that. And I just want to touch on that point. You could live in downtown Davenport, one of our downtowns, that it has that city vibe to it, right? There's bars and restaurants and theaters and things like that. And literally a 15-minute drive, you could have a homestead where you live off the land and it's sustainable and you have cows. I mean, it really is the best of both worlds because it's just the amount of opportunity that we have in the Quad Cities to live at whatever end of that spectrum we want mm-hmm. is available for us. And I think that is something that a lot of people can't say that about their community. Mm-hmm. So I love that. Mm-hmm. On to you, Tammy.
So, I mean, Chris mentioned it before. I think it's the accessibility, both on a professional level and a personal level. Professionally, as an employee or as a business coming here to the Quad Cities, I mean, there are people here to support you mm-hmm. In so many ways. Mm-hmm. And even in your personal life, in your small community, there's always someone there to lend a helping hand. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes our community special.
Absolutely.
And I think, our site consultants, they saw that. They could feel that. And I think we take that for granted, mm-hmm. And in terms of, businesses looking to come here and our existing businesses, we have that skilled workforce. We have a workforce that has a Midwest work ethic, that they're ready to come to work. And it's the low cost of doing business, mm-hmm. the transportation network. We have everything here that a major city has. Right. And what do they say? We're a what is that? Small fish. We're big
fish in a small pond.
Big
is
fish
that it?
In a small pond here, right? And we're not the Dallas or the Atlantas mm-hmm. where you can get lost so easily.
And on that note, I definitely, if my house, my 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom. Huge yard house. If I tried to get that in a big city, I would have to have 12 roommates. I would probably sleep on a couch or a mat. So I would not be able to afford the lifestyle that I can easily reach in the Quad Cities in a lot of the cities around our nation. I just couldn't do it. The price of living is very affordable here. I live in a safe neighborhood that I love. My neighbors bake me cookies without eggs because I'm allergic to eggs. So my neighbor makes, she's like, I read on Facebook you can't have eggs even though you love chickens. But so here are cookies without eggs. I'm like, where else would that happen? Only the Quad Cities. I truly believe only the Quad Cities would your neighbor make you allergy free cookies, you know. So oh, that's so great. This is a really awesome look into the work that you both do, the team does on the business and economic growth team. And I'm just really excited to see all the wins that you guys are going to have. We're going to have, the community's going to have, the region's going to have this upcoming year. I think it's just continues to move upward, and that's all because of the work you guys are doing on the ground level. So
well,
thank you for your very hard work, and I enjoy being on your guys' team in one way or another. I'm not on the BEG team, but I am your social media girl, so I will continue.
Well, and we invite any of your listeners actually to follow us, the Quad Cities Business and Economic Growth Team on LinkedIn, or Tammy and I specifically, so that they can see our activities. We post regularly, so let's get in touch and stay connected and continue to aim for success in the region.
You can find out more about our business and economic growth team on our website, quadcitieschamber.com. That was it, you guys. That was episode 5 of In the QC. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you again to Tammy and Chris for joining me. It was a real pleasure getting to talk to you guys about the work that you're doing. Thank you so much for listening. We, again, always have fun on In the QC. Join us for our next episode. And real quick, special shout out to the Quad City Times for letting us use their beautiful podcast studio. We are very grateful that they let us use this space. So if you haven't subscribed to our podcast, you can do that on all of the major podcast channels, as well as go to our YouTube and you can get the video version of the podcast. Thank you again, you guys. Looking forward to the next episode. Have a great day.